Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Umagnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadama Yam Darati Svaparandikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapatakalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahaganaraguna Tanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahakanalalita Sri Visakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Pando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashatarishtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Hri Bol. Okay, so today we continue from text 21. The wind carries the clouds to different parts of the globe, and the clouds distribute rains to the satisfaction of the people in general, just as rich kings and merchants distribute their accumulated wealth, inspired by religious priests. As already explained, the four divisions of society, namely the intelligent class of man, the Brahmanas, the ruling class, the Kshatriyas, the mercantile class, the Vaishyas, and the laboring class, the Shudras, are meant to achieve one goal in life, self-realization or cultivation of the human spirit. The intelligent class of man, the Brahmanas, are to inspire the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas in performing sacrifices for spiritual cultivation. And thus the cooperation of the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas uplifts the people in general, or the ordinary laboring class of man. As soon as the cooperation between the four classes of man in society stops, and the basic principles of spiritual culture are neglected, the social structure of humanity becomes a second edition of animal life, based on the propensities of eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. It is the duty of the intelligent man to influence the members of the richer communities, the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, to sacrifice for spiritual culture. Only in this way can the tension between the capitalists and the laborers be well mitigated. In this age of Kali, when a slight difference of opinion leads to quarrel, even to the extent of riots, it is the duty of the intelligent man and the Brahmanas to selflessly inspire the rich people to sacrifice for this purpose. It is suggested here that the men of the intelligent class should not themselves try to become Kshatriyas or Vaishyas, nor should they engage themselves in the occupation of the various other classes. Rather, the Brahmanas should simply guide them in spiritual cultivation. Just as the wind carries the clouds to other places to pour water, the wind itself does not take up the responsibility for pouring water. The most intelligent men in society are the saints and sages, who have sacrificed everything for the service of spiritual culture. Their duty is to travel throughout human society and inspire its members to engage themselves in acts of spiritual culture by sacrificing their words, money, intelligence, and life. That should be the theme of human life in order to make it complete success. A society with no taste for spiritual culture is a blazing fire, and everyone in that fire perpetually suffers the threefold miseries. As clouds pour water on a blazing fire in the forest and thus extinguishing it, The intelligent man who work as the spiritual master of society pour water on the blazing fire of miseries by disseminating spiritual knowledge and inspiring the richer section of the society to help in the cause. Temples of worship, for example, are constructed by the rich, and these temples are meant to impart spiritual education to people in general. The periodic spiritual ceremonies are held for inspiration and not for exploitation. If there are flaws now because of the age of Kali, they should be rectified, but the institution must be saved. Hare Krishna, Aridya Prabhu, Dandat Pranam, Jai Shila Prabhupada. 22. Here is the picture. Is this?
Srila Prabhupada, all praise to you and Hero Prabhu.
Jai Shila Prabhupada. How are you doing, Prabhu?
I'm doing well, Prabhu. As I was trying to get more regular with the reading session. Sorry, I could not. I was actually kind of like balancing it with my sadhana. Also, I usually chant my rounds in the night, but today I did a little early, so I thought I'll join the reading session as well.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, very nice that you
How
joined.
are, how are you doing, Prabhu? How's your shifting and things going on?
It's going okay. This week it's been a little bit difficult because I've been having to look for the like furniture for the house, like the carpet and the bed and things like this. For altar, I need some cabinet and things like this.
Okay.
So I have been having to scroll some, material items, and it's so tiring.
Mhm,
I want already
mhm,
this moving to be over because it's so tiring to having to look for this. I had to buy some vacuum, and I had to find kitchen things like the knives and things like this. So that has been really
mhm.
taking time, and it's been annoying. But then I be I will be like moving soon, like at the end of
Okay.
the month, I think.
So I think that by the end of the month we'll have an ice game, Finland soon.
Not maybe I can Finland there yet, because it's like I cannot make it like public place because it's like private
Okay.
housing. But at least there will be
Okay.
some place where like people can come together.
Mhm. Okay.
And there I can do my sadhana also much more better because there will be no distraction. And I can choose totally what will be the rules of the house and where is everything and all the items, and yeah, then I don't it will be much easier.
You will be alone, right, bro?
Yes, Prabhu. In that house I will be like alone. But Mataji lives
Okay.
like close, like 100 meters is her house.
Okay.
But I will be mostly at that place. Then I can do like
I
better
think.
morning program because then I can because when I was with Mataji, I had to be really quiet at like mornings. Then I don't have to be as quiet. But still I have to be a little bit quiet because I don't know if the neighbors will complain easily. But at the beginning,
Mhm.
I if they're not complaining, then I can like increase the volume a little bit. But yeah, at least I can make some noise in the morning and I can sing properly.
Uh, Understood, bro.
And here I couldn't do any like proper Mangalarti here in this house because there is no room for anything, not for
Actually,
altar or anything. So I've been just waking up and then chanting the rounds really early. So I've been missing
okay.
doing the Mangalarti because I love to sing those songs in the morning. It's so nice. So then I will
Bro,
get
you're so much more advanced.
no problem. I'm not advanced. I'm just singing some few songs, and I'm not doing it like in the temple way. But I like the singing in the morning. It's nice because it like removes the tiredness when we hear this
Okay, okay.
samsara
Uh,
dava na na ni dalo, and then everyone wakes up.
for me, I don't.
Oh, Prabhu, you're cut. You're muted. Something happened.
It just I just go to sleep more actually when I hear that in the morning.
Yes, Prabhu. But I can imagine in the temple when they play mridangas in the morning, it would wake up like properly because they do with big volume, so it's much nicer.
I mean, yeah, in the temple, it's much different.
Yes, Prabhu.
But for me, it's impossible for me to do the proper routine. I wake up very late. I sleep very late.
Yes, Prabhu. I've been also now trying to get sleeping much earlier, and past like 2 weeks it has been getting much better. I've been sleeping at like, because here now it's getting really dark at the 4 o'clock, it's
Mhm,
already like completely dark, so at the evening
mhm,
it's easier to go to sleep. But last morning I missed somehow, I don't know what happened, but I woke up like
mhm,
6:20 a.m. and all
mhm,
my like alarms, because usually I have 5 alarms that are there always,
mhm,
and all of them were set off. And I was like, what is this? This is like nightmare. That's what is happening. That I just read chatting rounds. I hope tomorrow it's like working properly. It feels
mhm,
like,
mhm,
before in the army life when I was in school, and few
mhm,
times in my school career, I woke up like the school started at 8 a.m. And I woke up
mhm,
like 10 a.m. and I was like, oh no, I'm so
mhm.
late and what I'm gonna do. So I had that same feeling when I woke up like 40 minutes late today.
Actually, whenever the morning program is missed, it's very tough. The entire day, it's very tough, very painful.
Yes, Prabhu.
And you were doing the reading, right, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. We are at 20,
So
text number 22.
okay.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Sora, Prabhu Dandat, Pranam, Jai Shla Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
So this book is called The Light of Bhagavata, and these paintings are done by some Japanese woman. He's she's not a devotee. I think she was some artist, and they gave instructions to make these paintings. So paintings like this. Prabhupada gave like instructions how they should be, and then he gave the verses, and according to that, it was made. But yeah, this is the first one where I see Krishna and Balaram. So even the artist, she knew how to draw Krishna. Some advancement she had, because I couldn't do any painting like this about Krishna, and she could, even though she is not a devotee. So this is seems like some devotion she has then. Okay, 22. After the complete rainy season, the forest of Vrindavan was full of fruits like dates and blackberries ripening on the trees and bushes. Lord Sri Krishna, along with his elder brother Sri Baladeva and other cowherd boys of the vicinity, entered the beautiful forest accompanied by the cows to display transcendental pastimes with his eternal friends. Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appears with his personal entourage once in 4.320. Is this I think it's million years, and displays his transcendental paraphernalia, just to attract the conditioned souls of the material world. Although the material world is only a shadow of the spiritual world, the materially encaged living entities seek spiritual happiness here, in a form perverted by materialistic attachment. Empiric philosophers with a poor fund of knowledge imagine a spiritual picture that is impersonal, but the spiritual living being, less attracted by the impersonal form of spiritual emancipation, becomes more attracted by the material form and becomes hopeless of spiritual emancipation. Emancipation. Therefore, the absolute personality of Godhead, out of his limitless and causeless mercy, descends from the spiritual kingdom and displays his personal pastimes at the Vrindavan, the replica of the Krishna Loka planet in the spiritual sky. Vrindavan is the most sacred place within this cosmic universe, and people seeking to achieve spiritual emancipation by entering the kingdom of God may make a home at Vrindavan and become serious students of the six Goswamis who were instructed by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The 6 Goswamis were headed by Srila Rupa Goswami, who was followed by Srila Sanatana, Bhatta Raghunath, Srila Jiva Goswami, Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. They were all seriously engaged in research and excavation of the mystery of Vrindavan Dham. Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared at Vrindavan about 5,000 years ago, and the relics of his appearance at Vrindavan were lost from view. But Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the very same Lord Sri Krishna in the form of a great devotee, appeared at Navadvip, a district in West Bengal, and excavated the holy places of Sri Krishna's transcendental pastimes. He instructed the above-mentioned 6 Goswamis to compose authorized literature on the cult of Vrindavan, and any serious student anxious to know about the Supreme Lord may take advantage of this invaluable literature and the guidance of authorized scholars, and thus know about the about the Lord of Vrindavan, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. After the complete rainy season, the forest of Vrindavan was full of fruits like dates and blackberries ripening on the trees and bushes. Lord Sri Krishna, along with his elder brother Sri Baladeva and other cowherd boys of the vicinity, entered the beautiful forest accompanied by the cows to display transcendental pastimes with his eternal friends. Oh, here is the same picture but bigger. It's a really nice painting. This is like Oriental style, like Japanese style painting. And see, they look like Japanese, the devotees, a little bit.
It looks very nice. The Japanese arts are very beautiful.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, actually, this picture shows a lot of what do you say? The it's similar to what the original Bhagavatam pictures.
Yes, Prabhu. Oh, this one is also really nice. These would be nice paintings on the wall because they look like authentic. The cows are so funny looking.
That's true. Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, this garland is really nice. Yeah, they're dripping milk everywhere. Oh, there is a tiny calf with Krishna.
I didn't notice that total. You pointed it out. I didn't notice it.
And see, oh, I was looking like he was looking like she was trying to climb there, but she's like just like jumping. Yeah, the trees also are really nice there because there's like these small, really colorful flowers everywhere around the trees.
Yes,
These
Prabhu.
paintings are very beautiful, Rosie.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay, what is happening here? Who wants to read this one?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I am reading.
Yes, Prabhu. Jai Shri Prabhu.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. The cows that followed the Lord within the forest moved slowly because of their heavy milk-laden udders. But when the Lord called them by their specific names, they at once became alert, and as they hastened toward him, their milk bags overflowed and poured milk on the ground because of affection for the Lord.
And there is 800,000 cows. There's so many.
Unimaginably.
Yes, Prabhu. They all have names and they have their personal relationship. It's so nice.
It is understood from scriptures like the Brahma Samhita that in the spiritual abode of the Lord, the houses are made of touchstone and the trees are all desire trees. There the Lord is accustomed to tending thousands and thousands of Kamdhenus, cows able to supply unlimited quantities of milk, and all the houses, trees, and cows are qualitatively non-different from the Lord. The Lord and his paraphernalia in the spiritual abode are all one and the same in quality. Although there are differences for the pleasure of the Lord, in the material world also we have various paraphernalia for our pleasure in life. But because all this paraphernalia is made of matter, it is all destructible at the end. In the spiritual sky, there are the very same varieties of pleasure, but they are all meant for the Lord. There, the Lord alone is the supreme enjoyer and beneficiary, and all others are enjoyed by the Lord. The Lord is served there by all kinds of servitors, and both the masters and the servitors are of the same quality. This spiritual variegatedness is displayed by the Lord when he descends at Vrindavan. And we may know that the Lord descends with his personal staff of cows, cowherd boys, and cowherd maidens, all of whom are but spiritual expansion of the Lord himself for his own pleasure. Thus, when called by the Lord, the cows are overwhelmed by joyous affection, just as the mother's breast overflows with milk when the child cries for it. That means, Prabhuji, those cows are also not normal cows. They are coming from spiritual world, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Unimaginable. Right. All of us living beings are differentiated expansion of the Lord, but our affection for the Lord is submerged within us, artificially covered by the material quality of ignorance. Spiritual culture is meant to revive this natural affection of the living being for the Lord. The ingredients of fire are already present in safety matches, and only mild friction is needed to ignite a fire. Similarly, our natural affection for the Lord has to be revived by a little culture. Specifically, we have to receive the messages of the Lord with a purified heart. For spiritual realization, one has to purify the heart and know things in their true perspective. As soon as one does this, the flow of one's natural affection begins to glide towards the Lord. And with the progress of this flow, one becomes more and more self-realized in various relations with the Lord. The Lord is the center of all the affection of all living beings, who are all his parts and parcels. When the flow of natural affection for the Lord is clogged by desires to imitate his lordship, one is said to be in Maya or illusion. Maya has no substantial existence, but as long as its hallucinations go on, their reactions are felt. The Lord, by his causeless mercy, displays the reality of life so that our hallucinations may be completely dissipated. Okay, Prabhuji, anyone can continue.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for reading. So who wants to read the next? Okay, Hare Krishna. When the Lord entered the forest of Vrindavan, all the inhabitants of the forest, both animate and inanimate, were eager to receive him. He saw that the flowers of the forest, all fully blossoming, were weeping in ecstasy, honey flowing down their petals. The waterfalls on the hilly rocks were gladly flowing, and one could hear sweet sounds from the caves nearby. The Lord has multifarious energies, and therefore the Lord and his energies are identical. Among his various energies, the material energy is one, and it is said in the Bhagavad Gita that the material energy is inferior in duality to the spiritual energy. Spiritual energy is superior because without contact with the spiritual energy, the material energy alone cannot produce anything. But the source of all energies is the all-attractive personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. This material world is combination of matter and spirit, but the spiritual world, which is far, far away from the material sky, is purely spiritual and has no contact with matter. In the spiritual world, everything is spirit. We have already discussed this. The personality of Godhead, the original source of all energies, is able to convert spirit into matter and matter into spirit. For him, there is no difference between matter and spirit. He is therefore called Kaivalya. In Lord Sri Krishna's transcendental pastimes, he reciprocates with spirit, not matter. When he is in the mortal world, the material dualities cannot work upon him. An electrician knows how to take work from electricity. With the help of electricity, he can turn water into cold or heat. Similarly, the person of Godhead can turn matter into spirit and spirit into matter by his inconceivable power. Everything is therefore matter and spirit by the grace of the Almighty, although there is a difference between matter and spirit for the ordinary living being. So for Krishna, there is no difference between matter and spirit. Flowers, waterfalls, trees, fruits, hills, caves, birds, beasts, and human beings are nothing but combinations of God's energy. Therefore, when the person of Godhead appeared before them, they all became spiritually inclined, and by natural affection, they wanted to serve the Almighty in various capacities. There are different stages of spiritual development in matter. In the material world, the spiritual sparks of the person of Godhead are covered by the material energy in different proportions, and gradually they become spiritualized in various species of life. The human form of life represents the complete development of the senses for spiritual realization of one's original affection for the Lord. Therefore, if despite this opportunity for human life we are unable to revive our natural affection for the Lord, we must know that we are wasting our life for nothing. By the grace of the Lord, however, the spiritual consciousness of every species of life can occupy its proper place, and these species can express their spiritual affection for the Lord in the Shantarasa, as displayed by the land, water, hills, trees, fruits, and flowers of Vrindavan during the presence of Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. It's raining. '25. The Lord reciprocated the feelings of the inhabitants of the forest of Vrindavan. When there was rainfall, the Lord took shelter at the feet of the trees or in the caves and enjoyed the taste of different fruits with his eternal associates, the cowherd boys. He played with them, sat with them, and ate fruits with them. Becoming one with God does not always indicate that a living being merges into existence of the Lord. To become one with God means to attain one's original spiritual duality. Unless one attains one's spiritual duality, one cannot enter into the kingdom of God. The members of the impersonalist school explain their idea of oneness by the example of mixing of river water with the sea water. But we should know that within the water of the sea there are living beings who do not merge into the existence of water, but keep their separate identities and enjoy life within the water. They are one with the water in the sense that they have attained the quality of living within the water. Similarly, the spiritual world is not without its separate paraphernalia. A living being can keep his separate identity in the spiritual kingdom and enjoy life with the supreme spiritual being, the personality of Godhead. In Vrindavan, all the spiritual entities, the cows, boys, the cowmaids, the forest, the trees, the hills, the water, the fruits, the cows, and all others, enjoy life spiritually in association with the Lord, Sri Krishna. They are simultaneously one with and different from the Lord, but ultimately they are one in different varieties. Okay, who wants to read the next one?
Prabhu, now I will read.
Yes, Prabhu.
The Lord enjoyed in the company of the Lord Baladeva and other coward boys, and sometimes sat with them on the same stone slab. While sitting, they are simple food like rice, dal, vegetables, bread, and curd, which they had brought from their homes and which they shared in friendly exchanges. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has expressed his willingness to accept fruits, flowers, leaves, and water from his devotee when they have been offered to him in devotional affection. The Lord can eat anything and everything because because everything is but a transformation of his own energy. But when there is a question of offering him something, the offering must be within the range of eatables the Lord has ordered. We cannot offer the Lord that which he has not ordered. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna cannot be offered anything beyond the range of good foodstuffs like rice, dal, wheat, vegetables, milk, and milk preparation and sugar. At Jagannath Puri, the Lord is offered such foodstuffs, and in all scriptures, very same foodstuffs are mentioned everywhere. The Lord is never hungry, nor does he require any food to fill his empty stomach. He is complete in himself. Yet he always merciful eats the foods offered by his devotees in sincere affection. The coward boys brought simple foodstuffs from home, and the Lord, who is constantly served by hundreds and thousands of goodness of fortune, is always glad to accept such foodstuffs from his devotees' friends. All the relatives of the Lord are his devotees. Only and they are situated in different transcendental mellows as friends, parents, and lovers. The Lord derives transcendental pleasure by accepting services from his various grades of devotees who are situated in various grades of rasas. These transcendental rasas are pervadedly reflected in the material atmosphere, and thus, the spiritual living being out of ignorance only vainly seeks the same bliss in matter. After good rains, the grazing ground for the animals was full of green pasture, and both the bulls and the cows sat down on the grass fully satisfied. The cows, followed by their calves, appeared tired of grazing because of full milk bags. Calmly and quietly, the calves rested at ruminated chewing their cud. Protection and grazing ground for the cows and are among the essential needs for society and the welfare of people in general. The animal fat required for the human body can be well derived from cow's milk. Cow milk is very important for human energy. The economic development of society depends on sufficient food grains, sufficient milk, and sufficient transportation. and distribution of these products. Lord Sri Krishna, by his personal example, taught us the importance of cow protection, which is meant not only for the Indian climate, but for all human beings all over the universe. Less intelligent people underestimate the value of cow's milk. Cow's, cow's milk is also called gorasa, or the juice from the body of the cow. Milk is the most valuable form of gorasa, and from milk we can prepare many important and valuable foodstuffs for the upkeep of the human body. The killing of cows by human society is one of the grossest suicidal policies, and those who are anxious to cultivate human spirit must turn their first attention towards the question of cow protection. If we really want to cultivate the human spirit in society, we must have first class intelligent men to guide the society. And to develop finer tissues of our brains, we must assimilate vitamin values from milk. Devotees worship Lord Sri Krishna by addressing him as the well wisher of the Brahmanas and the cows, the most intelligent class of men who have perfectly attained knowledge in the transcendental knowledge. Without the guidance of such first class men, and as no brain can assimilate the subtle form of knowledge without fine brains and tissues. For such important brain tissues, we require a sufficient quantity of milk and milk preparations. Ultimately, we need to protect the cow to derive the highest benefit from this important animal. The protection of cows, therefore, is not merely a religious sentiment, but a means to secure the highest benefit of human society. The fully beautiful scenery after the rainy season was attractive to the eyes of everyone, including Sri Krishna, the cause of all causes. Yeah. 28th one. The fully beautiful scenery after the rainy season was attractive to the eyes of everyone, including Sri Krishna, the cause of all causes. We should always appreciate the creative energy of the Supreme Lord, e- beautiful nature, even though material and therefore temporary is always full of glories of the Creator. Therefore, is a class of philosophers who condemn the material creation as false. They say that Brahman is truth, but the creation is false. This is not good. The temporary creation is also a relative truth. It is It is in fact the temporary picture of the eternal creation. The forgetful soul has no information of the spiritual creation known as the Sanatan Dharma, but the temporary creation gives an idea of this original creation. The devotees of the Lord therefore makes the best use of the bad bargain by utilizing the temporary creation in the service of the Lord. Everything emanates as different energies from the Lord, and thus everything should be engaged for his service only. As soon as even temporary things are engaged in his service, they take on permanent values. The process of such engagement in the service of Lord is what sages called Sikhitism. Sikit, sorry, Sikit, Sikhiticism. Sorry if I made any mistake in this.
No
Or
problem.
well treated. Yes, Prabhu. Or well treated. If we have some kind of trouble in the stomach from drinking milk, the physician prescribes the same milk in the form of curd, which is nothing but treated milk. Similarly, the temporary creation of the material world undoubtedly full of miseries, but when accepted in terms of its relation with the Supreme Lord, the whole thing becomes as well as well treated as the curd. Everything in full God consciousness has its spiritual value, and by the grace of the Almighty, its material effects are diminished in terms of the increasing degree of spiritual consciousness. That is a process for cultivating human spirit. Twenty-ninth one. Thus the rainy season came to an end. The autumn began, and there were no more clouds in the sky. All the reservoirs of water became crystal clear, and the wind was no longer forceful. Lord Krishna, along with his elder brother, Lord Baladeva, thus lived at Vrindavan in the auspicious season. When the sky is clear of all clouds, there is no longer any distinction between the portion of the sky that was covered and which was never covered. Similarly, when the living entity, now covered by the modes of material nature, is freed from ignorance, passion, and so-called goodness, he becomes one with the absolute truth. Such oneness is called mukti, or freedom from the miseries of material life. There are 5 different kinds of mukti. Impersonalities prefer to merge into the existence of the transcendence, but the personalities or devotees do not annihilate their individuality, and thus the devotees of the Lord enjoy spiritual uh, variegatedness on the planets of the spiritual sky. The material sky is also the spiritual sky, but it is covered by the modes of material nature. This material nature is also a temporary creation of the Lord, as the cloud is a creation of the sun. When the cloud of the material modes is cleared off, the material nature is said to have been annihilated. There are 2 kinds of living entities, namely the conditioned and the pure. It is for the conditioned living entities that the material nature is created and the conditioned souls are put into become pure. Unconditioned souls, those who become unconditioned by devotional service, enter into the eternal kingdom of God. And those who lost the chance wrought in dormant material conditions sometimes manifest and sometimes not manifested. Lord Sri Krishna descended to recalm the conditioned souls. Thirteenth one. In autumn, all reservoirs of water become enriched with growing lotuses. The muddy water again becomes normally clear and decorated, as fallen conditioned souls once more become spiritually enriched in devotional service. We should not be disappointed in our muddy life of material existence, for as soon as we voluntarily take to this devotional service of the Lord, our whole life becomes clear, like water in autumn. Devoid of our relationship with God, our life is barren. But as soon as the muddy mind is cleared by the spiritual association or cultivation of the human spirit, the threefold miseries of material life are at once cleared off. Thus, the lotus of knowledge gradually fructifies, and the gradual process of development ushers in transcendental bliss. The whole spiritual process is technically called yoga, or linking with the Supreme. It is something like a long staircase, and the upward steps are very variously designated as regulated work, transcendental knowledge, mystic powers, and ultimately Bhakti Yoga, devotional service. Bhakti Yoga is a pure and unalloyed, being entirely beyond all the preliminary steps. Such unalloyed devotional service in favor of the Supreme Lord was displayed at Vrindavan when the Lord descended there. And thus, the yoga exhibited by the gopis of Vrindavan is the highest unalloyed love of Godhead, the perfection of Bhakti Yoga. To rise to the stage of love to the shown by the gopis is very difficult, but this stage is attainable for serious conditioned souls. Unfortunately, cheap neophytes make a show of the transcendental ecstasies of the gopis, bringing them onto the mundane plane for perverted manifestations and thus clearing the way to hell. By such unwanted uh, caricatures, seriously students of yoga, however, practice it seriously, and thus they attain the highest perfection in Bhakti Yoga, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Yoginam api sarvesham mad gate natar mad. Prabhu, I can't read this, Prabhu. Yes, mad gatendaratmana shraddhavan bhajeto mam same yuktatamo matha.
Rivo.
And of all yogis, he who always abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, is more intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That event, the four prominent features of autumn are that there is no water in the sky. The weeds that grew here and there in the rainy season all wither away. The muddy roads and fields dry up, and the ponds of water become crystal clear. These four features of the autumn atmosphere are compared to the four orders of life. In the varnashrama system, the student goes to the ashrama of the master to take lessons from him and serve him. Even as a menial servant, these troubles of the student are at once mitigated when he attains transcendental knowledge in terms of his relation with Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. As the white clouds no longer bear the burden of water in the autumn sky, the students find that the troubles of drawing water for the master becomes a burdenless job if the student, by the grace of his master, attends to spiritual knowledge. Householder who beg children without restriction, like weeds in the rainy season, become solitary as soon as they attain to the stage of devotional service. The family planning of a godless civilization cannot check weed-like unwanted population. People should learn to check sex life by voluntary restraint. This voluntary restraint is possible when one is devotedly dovetailed with the service of the Lord. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Vishye vinivartante niraharasya dehina rashavarjam rasopi asya param drishtva nivartate. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. Well, well situated devotees of the Lord refrains from materialistic sense enjoyment, for they are attained by the beauty of transcendence, forcibly restrained by regulative family planning or similar artificial means cannot work very long. One must be attracted by the transcendence. One can give up the inferior quality or of enjoyment as soon as one receives the superior quality of spiritual enjoyment. So family planning is successful when one is engaged in the culture of the human spirit. The vana the vanapra the vanaprashthas who voluntarily avoid cleaning themselves and who allow their beards and nails to grow no longer feel the discomforts of these burdens when they engage in the service of the Lord. And above all, the mendicants who take a vow to refrain from sex life no longer feel sexual urges when fixed in the transcendental service of the Lord. Therefore, in all four in all four of the spiritual orders and the four of the grades of social life, devotional service to the Lord is essential. Without this relationship, all the regulative principles of Varna and Ashrama becomes burdensome duties, as they have in the age of Kali. When the regulative principles have no aim, the Varnashram become a caste system, and the ashramas become the business of various shopkeepers. All these anomalies of the present social system can be reformed only by cultivation of the human spirit in the devotional service of the Lord. That is second one. The beautiful white clouds, freed from all burdens of water distribution, floated in mid-air like mendicants freed from all family responsibilities.
Very good.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept number obeisances or glory
Hare
Shishta
Krishna
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Tandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Haribo.
Hare Krishna, very nice. Join. May I read this, Prabhu?
Yes,
Don't
Prabhu.
mind?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
As long as one is attached to the so-called responsibilities or family burdens, he is always full of cares and anxieties about meeting his family expenses. The four orders of social life are designed in the Varnashrama system are very scientific and cooperative. In student life, one is taught the primary principles of the human form of life. One who enters the householder's life can execute the duties of a family man because he's already been trained for this job in the Brahmachari ashram. After 50 years of age, the householder retires from family life and prepares for the life of sannyas. The householder is duty bound to maintain the maintain the members of all the three of the other ashramas, namely the brahmacharis, the vanaprasthas, and the sannyasis. Therefore, every member of society was given a chance to retire for a higher order of spiritual culture, and the householders neglected no one. The brahmacharis, vanaprasthas, and sannyasis all curtailed their necessities to the minimum, and therefore no one would begrudge maintaining them in the bare necessities of life. In Kali Yuga, however, the entire system has gone topsy turvy. The student lives in luxury at the expense of the father or the father in law. When the educated, indulgent student becomes a householder by the strength of university degrees, he requires money by all means for all kinds of bodily comfort, and therefore he cannot spare even a penny for the so called vanaprasthas and sannyasis. Vanaprasthas and sannyasis nowadays are those who are unsuccessful in family life. Thus, the so called sannyasis try to construct another home in the name of sannyas ashram and glide down into all sorts of luxury at the expense of others. So, so all these varnas and ashramas have now become so many transcendental frauds. But that does not mean that there is no reality in them. One should not conclude that there is no good money simply because one has met with counterfeit coins. The sannyas ashram is meant for complete freedom from all anxieties, and it is meant for uplifting the fallen souls who are merged in materialism. Unless the sannyasi is freed from all cares and anxieties like a white cloud, it is difficult for him to do anything good for the society.
Hare Krishna.
This one was really accurate. This.
Yeah, and successful in family life. That's it.
Yes, they want to be with big temples, and then they
Yeah,
worship demigods there openly. And
I worship demigods and all kind of a sinful life, kind of sense gratification. That's it.
yes,
It's another sense gratification. So many Baba Jis and all this.
yeah.
All kind of people nowadays really.
What is here?
There are waterfalls flowing from the hills of the forest, but sometimes water does not flow from them. So waterfalls are not like ordinary rainfall. They are compared to great reformers who speak or do not speak as the time requires. Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is really nice one.
Think somebody else can take over. Or shall I read? Continue reading.
Hare Krishna, Pranjal Prabhu, Dandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhu, you can continue if no one is continuing.
Okay. All right. There are two kinds of religious preachers. One of them is called the professional preacher, and the other is called the acharya. The professional preachers are like the rainfall from the sky. The acharyas are like waterfalls. The professional traders in Bhagavatam and Ramayana will speak from the portion of the scripture that will appeal to the mundane senses of the audience. For example, the professional Bhagavatam reciter will generally speak on the subject of Rasa Leela, which appears to the layman to be something like the dealings of ordinary men and women. Thus, the professional reciters earn money from their so called admirers. But an acharya will never speak on Rasa Leela to the general mass of people. The Rasa Leela chapters of the Bhagavatam are the most confidential part of the scripture, and they are meant for advanced students of spiritual realization. In the Bhagavatam, there are 12 cantos, and the Rasa Leela is in the 10th. So, before one comes to the 10th canto, the Bhagavatam tries to convince one of the transcendental nature of the absolute truth. Unless one has grasped the spiritual status of the spiritual, supreme personality of Godhead, one is sure to accept him as an ordinary man and thereby commit offenses at his lotus feet by so many unwanted activities. The Acharya is he who knows the scriptures well and teaches his disciple in terms of the disciple's capacity to understand and advance in spiritual realization. Therefore, he sometimes does not speak and sometimes speaks. The holy messages of Godhead have to be received from the realized soul and not from the professional man. Although rainwater and the waterfalls are the same, the water from the waterfalls has a different effect than ordinary rainwater. One should not accept messages from the professional men as one should not accept milk touched by the tongue of a serpent. Milk is good, but as soon as it is touched by the snake, it becomes poisonous. The Acharya, therefore, is not a mercenary order supplier like the professional reciter of scriptures.
Oh,
Fish.
the scrolling got stuck. Yeah, here's some fish.
Small pools of water accumulate during the rainy season, and in the autumn they gradually dry up. The little creatures playing in those small pools do not understand that their days are now numbered and will end very soon. Thus, they are like foolish men who do not care for the nearing day of their death, to become absorbed in the so called enjoyment of family life. Ah,
Yes, Prabhu, these little fish, they don't know that the pond is drying up all the time.
yeah,
Oh, Krishna.
days are numbered.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks, oh, I have a long life. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. That's how everyone.
Politicians are too attached to family life. A big politician means a big family man. An ordinary family man is attached to his limited family of wife and children. The big politicians extend the same family feeling to a wider circle and thus become encumbered by false prestige, honor, and self interest. The politician never retires from politics even if he has enjoyed many covetable posts like that of minister or president. The older he is, the more he is attached to his false prestige. Even at the fag end of his life, he thinks that everything will be spoiled without him. He is so foolish that he does not see that many of the politicians who thought like him have come and gone with no gain or loss for want of them. These family men, big and small, are like the small fish in the pools of water that gradually dry up in the autumn. They are foolish because they think that their attachment to their family, even in the end of their lives, will be able to protect them from the cruel hands of death. As already all the world leaders right now, yeah. As already mentioned, the human life must be divided into four component parts: the student life, the householder life, the preparative life, and the life of dedication to the service of the Lord. One must retire from all sorts of family life, big or small, at the age of 50, and thus prepare for the next life. That is the process of human culture. The householders are allowed a pension from service so that they can live for a higher cultural life. But foolish men, reluctant even to accept this pension, would to artificially increase the duration of their life. Such foolish men should take lessons from the drying pools of water and should know in their own interests. Their life is eternal, continuing even after death. Only the body changes, whether spiritually or materially. An intelligent man should be careful to know what sort of body is going to be awarded to him, and thus he must prepare for better life in other planets, even if he is reluctant to go back to God. Prabhupada is just giving an excuse. I mean, saying, okay, at least you go higher planets, wa. Dude.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhupada is just giving a concession, not an excuse, sorry, concession.
Yeah.
But why we need to go to the higher planets even?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, that's a big time waste.
Yeah.
It's like enjoying the first class flight. You like the first class so much that you just book flights to some random places just because you
Yeah,
enjoy the.
yes. Just because you enjoy the flight, yeah.
Yeah.
But then ultimately you have to come back to the same place.
Yeah.
Come back to Ine Puna Mandamarti Lokam Vishanti. Everybody. When the small pools of water become too hot because of the scorching heat of the autumn sun, the poor small creatures with their many family members suffer terribly, as poor householders with too many family members suffer economic strains and yet go on begetting children because of uncontrolled senses. Ah, so true, this one.
Yes, Prabhu.
Human life is meant for controlling the senses, for uncontrolled senses are the cause of material bondage. But for fools, sense enjoyment is the pivot of life's activities. All men undergo hard laborious duties all day and night and in all seasons of the year, only for the sake of sense pleasure with their mates. These foolish creatures have no information of other enjoyment. In a godless civilization, especially, sense pleasure accepted in the name of culture and philosophy is all in all. Culture, yeah, they say culture, culture, no? They say in Africa, what? A few tribes, they have a culture that 13, 15-year-old young girls have, have sex with all the boys.
Yeah.
Culture. Rubbish.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, that's true.
Men who are addicted to this pleasure are called kripanas. The kripanas have too many children. They suffer the scorching heat of family life, and then similar leaders advise them to undertake family planning. The idea of this family planning is that sense pleasure should not be curtailed, but birth control should be accomplished by artificial measures. Such methods of birth control are called bru- bhruna, bhruna hatya, or killing the child in embryo. Such killing is a sinful act, and in the revealed scriptures, a specific hell is designated for those who commit such sins. Ah, there you go.
Yes, Prabhu. There's
Spiritual culture. Prabhu?
yes, Prabhu. Now it's specified that there is one specific place for this action.
Yeah. You kill all the children, you go inside, suffer nicely.
Yes, Prabhu. And after that, when they have to be in the womb and they cannot get out from the womb and they had to re-enter wombs again and again.
Again and again. Be aborted.
Yeah.
Enter into the womb and then be aborted or killed in the womb itself.
Yeah, that's horrible. Imagine you're stuck in a train and you wait that you get out of, you're on a long journey and there's so much passengers on the train that it's so like you feel so stuck
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
go all the way to the end and then you have to re-enter to another train for a similar journey. That would
Yeah.
be so horrible.
Teleport to another train.
Yeah.
That's how,
Okay.
that's how Krishna. If we do the same thing, we waste our semen and the so-called family planning, all kind of nonsense.
Yeah.
What is going to happen?
Yes, Prabhu. The same thing.
So all the so-called condoms are bags of sin, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Spiritual culture means pursuing a better engagement in life. When a man engages in such cultural life, the desire for meeting automatically abates, and the sufferings of uncontrolled family life are mitigated without artificial means. The attention of a human being, therefore, should be drawn to the cultivation of the human spirit, for this will gradually protect him from all sorts of discomfiture and elevate him to a higher status of life for real and eternal enjoyment in personal contact with the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna. That is the thing, when they don't have the higher taste, so they think, oh, sex life is the highest pleasure.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, and even though many have already like experienced that it's nonsense, but still, because they don't have anything other, they're still
Yeah,
trying over and over again that maybe if I do something different, and always they get the same thing because they don't know
same
what
thing.
other things to try. Everyone says that this is the highest.
Yeah. The same way.
Yeah,
LGBTQIA plus plus. So many things are adding on. So many letters are adding. A B C D E F G H I J
yeah.
K.
And first, it's like in stages. First there's these, all these hobbies and sports and these. If those are not enough, then there is this, they say that, oh, here is the sex pleasure, that this is the highest, that you leave your all those other hobbies. If those are not making you satisfied, then try the sex pleasure. And that's how
Yeah.
they become more and more crazy.
And then those who are even more, who that stuck within this thing, those are even more sinful, even more sensuous. They will
Yeah,
go into what, that same sex. What is
yeah.
that? Lesbian, gay, bisexual, all kind of rubbish.
Yes, Prabhu. It's just that it is just like, throwing some some burning material in the fire, because the fire just get increases and they get more.
Pouring ghee into the fire. They think, oh, if I enjoy my senses nicely, oh, no, that's it.
Yeah,
No.
the ideas will get more crazy. When the more they go, the ideas will get more crazy and crazy. Maybe this is okay and that is okay, and suddenly then the fire is all around. They cannot stop it anymore because it's so big.
And then they have sex with animals.
Yeah, yeah, that's when the fire is so big that they're like, oh, everything is
Yeah,
burning.
sex with animals and whatnot. I mean, all kind of rubbish going on nowadays. Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. And here they're even fighting sometimes too, because here these things are like legal in the law, and they want to there is some people who want to make these things illegal, that you cannot have like sex with animals, and but there is some persons who defend this. They're like, everyone must have their opinion of choice, and the thing
Yeah,
is so crazy.
yeah. Similarly, even in the US, the women, they say, "What, my body, my choice. I can kill my
Yeah,
child. I can do my abortion.
yeah.
Kill your child, and then you get killed in the next life. That's it.
Yes,
No
bro.
big deal."
And if they say my body, my choice, then what about the child's body that is inside your body? Where is his choice? Let
Yeah,
him grow. Let him grow first and tell if he wants to live or not. When he's
yeah,
grown up, you ask him, would you have liked to die before, or are you fine being living now? Always the child will say, oh, I like being living. Which child will say that, oh, I wish you killed me?
yeah. Even if he wants to die and you kill him, it is still a murder. The government is still going to punish
Yeah,
you for that.
yeah, that's true.
Even if you say, no, I want to die, and then you kill him off. He said, no, no, he wanted me to kill him, but still, no, it is still a government offense. You have to still be arrested for that.
Yeah. And I think, these government officials and all these scientists, they know that this is killing, but if they say that let's ban this, then they would have to follow it, and they would have so many children, and they would be, yeah, they wouldn't be able to live forever. So they have to keep this going, that no, they are not living yet. They are living
Yeah,
after a few weeks, they are living, but now they're just dead matter. Later they are maybe living.
yeah, that's the whole problem, no? Can I rubbish? Wait, this. Oh, Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, and in future they are not gonna have abortion. The mother is gonna have the baby, and then the mother is going to eat the baby, like in this
Yeah,
zombie apocalypse. It's the future
yeah,
of Kali Yuga.
yeah. They kill the baby, eat the baby. What kind of rubbish is gonna start?
Yeah,
I mean, so hard to believe that Kali Yuga is just, we're just 5,000 years into Kali Yuga, and all these kind of rubbish is happening.
yeah,
I
yes,
mean,
that's
I
so crazy.
really imagine what there's another 4,27,000 years more. I don't know how much is it gonna degrade further.
Yeah, because now I think people are now enjoying on the pretext of the golden age, because now it's still the golden age, so things are a little bit okay. But after this golden age, 10,000 year ends, it's gonna be just like those zombie movies where everyone are running across the country. They are trying to find normal, like, humans, and there is zones where you cannot go. There is people who trying to eat you and kill you, and it will be just like this later. There will be no civilization. There will be just small groups that are trying to steal from other groups, and they're fighting and killing and eating each other. Just like that.
Yeah, already you see what is happening in Israel and
Yeah.
what is it, Palestine. They say no, this is our land. This is our land.
Yeah.
Our land, your land, their land. What rubbish is that? I mean, really, I see the arguments. It's what's so funny. What? Oh, Israelis. What? Jews occupied this land, so this is the land of our. What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What kind of
Yeah.
rubbish
They
is
say
this?
they say that God of Israel, but what kind of God is this, that he's only God of one place? Is he not God of
Yeah,
every place? They say
yeah.
that we are the followers of the God of
Original.
Israel, and we what kind of God is this?
Yeah. See, that's the problem, no? When you think you want to become proprietor, they cannot peacefully coexist. Hmm?
Yeah.
And when they think they want to become proprietor, all kind of rubbish will start. They cannot peacefully coexist. Why?
Yes,
Huh?
Prabhu. Yeah,
Yes, they can.
just yesterday we were talking about this. And yeah, because the both teams, there is so many separate interests, and all the interests are clashing. Just like if you put drops on the water and there is many rings, then all the rings clash with each other. They should have
Yes.
one center, then it would work. But they have millions of centers. One say you need to do it like this. No, one say you need to be gay. Some say you need to, yeah, all the crazy things. So opinions are clashing, and then they fight. They
Yeah.
say we need a big atom bomb right now to solve this problem.
One side, Russia, Ukraine, still it is not solved. Still there is a war going on. Still they are fighting.
Yeah.
I mean, what is going on?
And
It's
now
like,
all the now it's gonna get much bigger, because all the Muslim countries are going to join. Like I just saw this Turkish president, he was like all calling that we're gonna go to war and on the TV, and he was saying that Israel is terrorist, this president is terrorist, and he said we're gonna help. What, Prabhu?
Erdogan said that.
Yes, Prabhu. In live TV, I was confused. Like, what is going on?
Wow.
He was saying that
Wow.
we are declaring Israel as war criminals and we are gonna be against them. And everyone was going like, "Oh, hooray!" And
So far, the Muslim nations did not say anything. Of course,
yeah,
except the Hezbollah. Hezbollah said openly, "We're gonna fight against Israel." Now, I think
yeah,
I think the next big fight is gonna be against Hezbollah now.
yes, Prabhu.
Oh,
I think
this
by
is,
the end of the year it will just grow bigger and bigger. This,
yeah, just as Prabhupada says, no.
yeah, it was really accurate actually. We were waiting for this. I was knowing that by the end of the year there will be like bigger war than just this
Like that.
Ukraine
Now
era.
eventually, yeah. Now eventually, what is gonna happen? Now US has already joined the war.
Yeah,
The US is already supporting Israel, openly supporting Israel.
yes,
European countries are all support. What NATO is completely supporting Israel.
yeah,
All of NATO countries are supporting Israel. I don't know, maybe except Turkey, whatever. But mostly all the NATO countries are supporting Israel.
yeah.
So now what? Now all the NATO and US will join. What everybody, all the NATO. It's going to be what NATO versus Arabic
Yeah,
countries.
and China and Russia are with Arabian countries, so it will be,
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting how it turns out now because Russia already has a war going on against Ukraine.
yeah,
Ukraine is what siding towards NATO. So Russia will. You don't know what Russia is going to do now.
yeah. And I heard this China was also, they openly say that we are against this, that we are like going to help these countries. They were saying,
Then India playing very smart. India say that we want two-state solution. We want to resolve this thing. We
yeah,
want Israel and Palestine to be separate, two separate countries. But who's going to agree with that?
yeah,
Who cares? Who cares the least about this? All want war now. It's
yes,
all
probably, yeah.
United Nations is
They just
completely
want to
useless.
fight, so they need to get the fight, and
Some
after
license, they just want an excuse to fight. That's it.
yeah, and after this one fighting, they will again have a little peace, and then after that already they will be planning on new fights where to fight, and yeah,
Exactly. Already kind of nonsense going on. Krishna, really? Yeah, I mean,
then
complete
maybe when the
mess.
war gets really big in Europe, then maybe like first times ever the immigrants will be Europeans. They will be running to
Everywhere,
like
yeah.
Asia and US.
Yeah, they'll be running everywhere, huh?
Yeah,
Start coming. Europeans.
yeah, this place is
Everywhere.
already so dangerous. There is almost every day some murder or some stabbing in our city only. It has become so dangerous in just 2 years. It's crazy.
Oh, in Tampere itself, huh?
Yeah, this is like the worst city now in the Finland, because like
Oh,
last week only there was like 4 murders like day after day, and I see all the time like in these
wow.
close areas also, and it's usually young people, like young males, and they are always drug users, like always, and they
Yeah.
just go crazy and kill each other all the time.
Mm. Just like the Yadus, no? They become intoxicated.
Yeah,
They kill themselves. Finish.
yeah, just like that is going on.
Uh, just how this world is going on, really. That's why, it's better just finish our Krishna consciousness somehow and just go back to Godhead. We don't want to be in this kind of a hellish place.
Yes, Prabhu.
All kind of rubbish going on. People are making a laughing stock of themselves.
Yeah. Okay, let's read few more. So Pranjal Prabhu is writing. Yes, Prabhu. Okay, 36. With the progress of the autumn season, the moist earth and muddy places begin to dry up, and the green vegetation begins to fade. This drying up and fading resembles the gradual disappearance of the false sense of affinity and ego. Progress in cultivating the human spirit entails the gradual disappearance of the materialistic ego, covered by ignorance, passion, and so-called goodness. The spirit soul thinks himself in all, and is covered by a false sense of ego. Thus, he falsely identifies the soul with the body, and his bodily relations with material things become the objects of his attraction. This false identification and attraction for the matter gradually dry up and fade away by success in the cultivation of the human spirit. That is the effect of such higher cultivation. Progress in spiritual culture brings about the disintegration of false ego and material attraction. The ultimate goal of cultivating the human spirit is God realization and surrender unto God with a full sense of His all-pervasive nature. When a liberated soul thus surrenders unto the lotus feet of the all-pervading Godhead, the ocean of nescience becomes as insignificant to him as the water in the small hoofprint of a calf. He at once becomes eligible to be promoted to the spiritual kingdom, and he has nothing to do with the miserable land of the material world. Cultivation of the human spirit is not therefore mere adjustment of materialistic anomalies. It is the process for preparing oneself to be promoted to the spiritual kingdom. No one can adjust the sufferings of material existence, but by spiritual culture, one can elevate himself from the effects of such miserable life. As an example, one may cite the condition of a dry coconut. The dry coconut pulp automatically becomes separated from its outer skin. Similarly, the outer skin or the gross and subtle material coverings of the soul automatically separates from the spirit soul, and the spirit soul can then exist in spiritual existence, even though apparently within the dry skin. This freedom from the false sense of ego is called the liberation of the soul. "37. With the inauguration of the autumn season, the rough sea becomes calm and quiet, just like a philosopher after self-realization, who is no longer troubled by the modes of nature. The result of self-realization is cessation of the storms of desire and lust, which are products of the modes of ignorance and passion. This cessation of the storm does not mean that the sea becomes inactive. When the storm subsides, the work of navigation can take place smoothly. According to the Indian system of navigation, there is a ceremony on the seashore known as the Coconut Day. On the Coconut Day, the sea is offered a coconut because she has become peaceful, and from that day on, the sea-going vessels sail to foreign countries. The three modes of nature divide human activities into two different spheres, one external and the other introspective. As long as a man is dominated by the modes of ignorance and passion, he is active externally in desire and lust. Men absorbed in desire and lust are called asuras, and they are always chasing after woman and money. For the sake of woman and money, the asuras exploit every source of economic development. As a result of this Asuric civilization, the entire human society becomes like a stormy sea with no trace of peace and prosperity. Too much of an external view of the world gives a rise to an overly large scale and difficult type of industry and trade, known as Ugra Karma. The word Ugra means hard or difficult, and Karma means task. Hmm. Yeah, we should not endeavor for things which are too difficult to obtain. Is this in Nectar of Instruction? Maybe.
Nectar of Instruction. Atyahara prayasascha
Yeah, that one.
niyamaga. Nectar of Instruction.
Yes, Prabhu. The development of hard and difficult industrial undertakings always hinders the progressive cultivation of the human spirit. Asuric leaders of society never retire from such lustful undertakings unless killed by the laws of nature. For them, there is no question of retirement or of cultivating the human spirit. But men in the most of goodness have an introspective mind, and after a regulative struggle for existence, they retire at a ripe old age and engage their time to cultivate the human spirit. According to the Varnashrama principle, it is compulsory that one retire after the age of 50, without considering other circumstances. Business offices close at a fixed hour, no matter what balance of work remains. Similarly, after the age of 50, one must retire from the active external life and devote oneself to the introspective cultivation of the human spirit. This retirement must be compulsory, so that foolish old men will no longer disturb the peaceful progress of spiritual culture. In the modern democratic government, no one should be elected after the age of 50. Yeah, this should be a rule in everywhere. No one should be elected after the age of 50.
Yeah. Prabhupada is giving such a practical
Yeah,
solution. But everybody is beyond the age of 50. On
yeah.
the contrary.
Here is literally like that. It's really rare if you're a politician and you're like 30 years.
Everybody is beyond the age of 50.
Usually some people they
50,
just start this
55,
politics.
60, 70.
Yeah, like that Donald Trump, he started his politics when he was like older also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and this was also nice that they cannot like when they're 50, then the shop closes. Business office closes at a fixed hour, no matter what balance of work remains. So
Yeah.
if he's thinking like, oh, I have 2 children more, I have to like 5 more years, I have to take care of this. No, it should be like fixed hour.
That's it. 50 means that's it.
Yeah,
Retire from family life.
yeah, and if this varnashrama dharma is done properly, then all it's not the grihastha and brahmachari, all they will end up anyways at the same place. So this grihastha life is like it's useless because anyways you will end up where the brahmachari will end up if you do it properly. You will anyways have to take sannyas, just like the brahmachari will take or become. Where will we sit here? Oh, this is nice. Otherwise, the storm of the ocean of nations cannot be stopped to allow the ships and boats to sail back to Godhead. The greatest enemies to progressive spiritual culture in human society are the old fossils of political parties who are blind themselves and who try to lead other blind men. They bring about disaster in a peaceful human society. The members of the younger generation are not as stupid as the old politicians, and therefore, by state law, the foolish politicians must retire from active life at the age of 50. Oh, Krishna, this is really nice. Prabhupada says old fossils of political parties. He called them
But
fossils.
the issue is people are even more foolish. The youngsters are even more foolish.
Yeah.
Oh, like another crazy person.
Yeah, now at the moment also usually these persons, even when they end their political life just at the end, then what they will do, they will continue as like in structure for the new politicians. They will tell what you will
Mm.
do in future and they will try to they don't want to get out of. They just like it was
Yeah.
said previous year that they think that, you know, if I leave this politics, the country and everything will go. It will go like in chaos. They think that their presence is keeping everything going.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. You know, that's why they think, oh, without me, everything will go.
Yes, Prabhu.
There were things going on in the past, my dear friend.
And it's also crazy that how someone can think that things are going going on because of me, because he makes mistakes every day, because there is there is always, even though someone tries to do everything perfectly, he will fail so many times. So if he
Yeah.
thinks that everything is happening because of me, then why you cannot do everything always without failing?
Yeah.
Just thinking about that, they should realize that I'm not the cause of any of these things that are complete or
Yeah.
not complete.
Simple logic.
Yeah, this
That's
this
thing,
big.
no, that's what. See, this who is this fellow Justin Trudeau? People thought, oh, he's a big time fellow, but what he did
Yes, Prabhu.
now, now, now nobody's supporting him and everybody's against him, and they don't.
Yeah.
Uh,
Also, yeah,
okay.
actually, during this COVID time, also there were many like prime ministers who got really famous, and everyone like, oh, this is the most exemplary person. He's leading us out of this disease, and after now, when I look back at those persons, now everyone has already forgotten who those persons were. They're not even prime minister anymore, and things
Yeah.
like this.
Okay, fellows.
Yeah, and
Hey,
it
Justin
changes so
Trudeau.
much. This are also the social media. It's because it makes someone into a spotlight always. At one point, it was Ukrainian president. Everyone were looking, oh, such a great guy. He's leading his country, and now I haven't
Mm.
heard anything about him. It changes all the time. Also, they change the spotlight to someone else. Then he's a little bit there. Then to someone else, and always they forgot the people after that. Totally.
Whichever story sells the most, they will portray that person only all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, this person is eating his meal. This person is passing stool. This person is.
Yes, Prabhu.
Kind of rubbish.
And in the West there is this, yeah, everyone is trying to become the teacher. Everyone thinks that I know the way and I will have to, because this internet came. So
Mm.
everyone is thinking that they need to use this internet for teaching others. So this is why there is these influencers. They try to influence others with their own
Yeah,
perfection that they think they have.
yeah. It's the whole thing. They themselves don't know anything. Whatever half-baked knowledge they have, they try to. They
Yeah.
say, "Oh, everybody has the right to form their opinion." What is the point of your opinion?
Yes, Prabhu.
What are you going to do by forming your opinion? What is going to happen? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. And
People
people,
don't realize.
yeah, the opinion, because they don't even accept their own opinions, because they change them all the time. They have one opinion now, then some friend comes and says something, and suddenly their opinion is totally different. This is the
Mm,
opinion platform.
yes. Yes, Guru.
Oh, it's already. Yes, Prabhu. We need to finish soon this reading session.
So, yes, Prabhu.
It's almost 11. I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Oh, and they changed the time in Finland. They moved the
Oh,
clocks 2 days
oh,
ago.
oh,
Yes.
why again?
Yeah, it happens twice a year. They change it. I don't know why. It's the stupidest
Oh,
thing.
what the daylight savings time, is it?
Yeah, just that.
Yeah.
So they
Oh,
did it. So they did it 2 days ago. So now I was thinking that it is soon 10 in India, but it's already 11 because they moved it. So I need to
yeah,
also move the
it's
reading session.
10, 10, 10:30.
Yeah. I need to. I was thinking also that why everyone was leaving so early, but then now I realized that it is because they moved the clock here. I need to make the reading session 1 hour earlier, I think.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, now let's
Yeah.
go to 6 Astakam prayers.
Yes. Hmm?
Ero Prabhu, are you going home?
What?
Are you still at bus? Where are you?
No, I'm at the a mall at the
Okay.
mall,
Okay, Prabhu.
but waiting for another bus so I can get back home.
Were you at Helsinki or like where?
No, in Porvoo.
Okay. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamaha shreyah kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamritasvadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Nam akari pahudani cha sarva shakti tatrarpitani yamita smaranena kalaha. Oh, can you zoom a little? I think I can't see. I think I can. Etadshi tava kripa pakavan mamapi durdaivam sam ihajani nanu ragaha.
Dibol.
तृणादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेन कीर्तनीय सदा हरिः.
Prabhu, once one person came to argue about this Trinadapi Sunichena, because we were saying Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnuna, and he came and said that in some books it is Taror Iva Sahishnuna.
Doesn't
So,
matter.
yeah, I was saying that it doesn't, but he was saying, but
Doesn't
which
matter.
one is the original? I was saying it doesn't matter. I was saying it
Doesn't
doesn't.
matter. You get the meaning, la.
Yeah,
Understand the essence. Why you came to argue?
yeah,
Taro rapi or taro riva essentially the same meaning. Taro
yeah,
rapi means even more than the tree. Be more
yeah,
tolerant than a tree. Taror iva sahishnuna means be as tolerant as a tree.
yeah,
But
yeah.
the
That's
essence, the message is conveyed, no? Either way.
yes, Prabhu.
Kind
I
of
tried to
crazy
explain.
people nowadays.
And this person was one of the original book persons.
Crazy people.
न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतात् भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि.
Ajinandatanu cha kinkaram patitam mam vishame pavam putau kripaya tava pada pankaja stitaduli satrisam vichintaya.
Wow, Aero Prabhu, you're reading so nicely, yeah? Of course, Sami Prabhu is, we know for a long time he's reading nicely, but Aero Prabhu, you're also reading very nicely. Haribol.
I was also surprised how nice he is.
Yeah, he read very nicely. नयनं गरदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदरुद्धया गिरा पुलकैर्निचितं वपुः कदा तव नामग्रहणे भविष्यति.
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्राविर्शायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्द विरहेण मे.
Ashrishyava pararatam pinastumam darshanan marma atam karotuva yata tatava vidadatu lampato matprananatas tusa eva naparaha.
Rivo.
Haribol.
It is actually really it is a little bit close to Finnish pronunciation because it is Finnish language is read just like you read it. It's just like that pronunciation. So Sanskrit is really similar. It's not
Yeah,
like in English that you say something differently that is written. So
yeah,
it comes naturally, this Sanskrit.
very nice.
Okay, translation. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar, which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names, like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more taller than a tree devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharajananda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling your separations, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He's completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally.
Haribo, Shri Sikastakam ki
Haribo.
jai, Harinam
Jai,
Sankirtan ki jai, Panchatattva ki jai,
Jai,
Shri
Jai,
Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Nityananda
Jai,
jai, Jagat Guru Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai
Jai.
Jai,
Shri Haribo.
Haribo.
Haribo.